This one is called Water, Witchcraft, Magic and Lore from the Celtic Tradition. This is an Annwyn Avalon book. So I believe it says U.S. Book price is $16.95. It might be slightly cheaper on Amazon. I also received this gift recently, and I am super excited. I've read the whole thing front to back already, probably in about maybe 2 or 3 days, here and there between different things. And I am a Sag Sun, Scorpio Rising, Scorpio Moon. So I am super watery. I love mermaids. If you've been to my shop, Beccas by the Bay on Etsy, you know I have tons of mermaids and watery stuff. And I've been working on some really cool things. But this is the author of Mermaids, Myths, Legends, and Lore. This was a forward by Skye Alexander, and that's S-K-Y-E. I also have a Celtic heritage, so I am Native American Indian, and I am Irish. So this just speaks to me. This is such a beautiful, beautiful cover. You've got the Celtic up here. It's very watery, green and blue. Kind of my favorite colors, purple and green and blue. And this was just a great little book. This would be a great book for tweens as well, teenagers. Let's see. They talk about the magic of water. So much magic in water. Amazing. Awesome. Also, like, the properties of water, and not just like the science behind the properties of water. You know how we have like mist and fog and ice and all that good stuff. But I'm trying to find the name specifically as I was looking for it. Right. Okay. So here it is. It was the Japanese entrepreneur, photographer, and author Dr. Masaru Emoto from 1943 to 2008. He wrote several books on the structure of water molecules and how they are changed and affected by location, the human mind, negative and positive energy. So to demonstrate that vibrations and various types of energy could affect it, he subjected the water to different types of music, and he made rock and roll. He also compared the crystalline structure of water from many different locations, comparing the contrasting water from places like holy wells, sacred sites, with water from places that were polluted by pesticides and other substances considered unsanitary. He used his powerful microscope and high-speed photography. So he noticed that water and the properties and the structure of water and crystals of the water makeup changed significantly. He also was experimenting with language, using words like love, hate, thank you, and you fool, and he photographed results. This was just mind-blowing, because like I want to read some of this stuff, because I loved that the water was affected by the energy. It was affected by the words. It was affected by the surroundings, and you know, we are like that. We are affected by our surroundings and the natural and negative and positive vibrations of other people. So this just really spoke to me, like just to my heart. So I absolutely love this book. It goes more into the magic of water, and talks about the ancient beliefs of the Celts and the Romans. It goes into the Celtic Triskel symbol for a really long time, and I didn't really realize what it was for a long time, I guess, because I've seen a lot of Celtic jewelry and things like that, and I've always loved that. So it talks about, goes into black water, brackish water, dew, fog, hail and sleet, marshes, bogs and swamps, and canal water. Goes into how mud is mixed with water and things like that. Seawater, fountains and pools, ponds and lakes, rainwater, river water, every bit of kind of water you want to think of, right? Snow and ice, spring, well water, waterfalls. I've always been attracted to water. It calms me. I love it. So water altars and shrines. Let's see how to create a water altar. How to create your own holy and sacred water. Same Christians do. They put salt in it, and then they do some things. How to make charm water, moon water. You can gather in your holy water and consecrate your sacred space by sprinkling the altar, saying, with my breath, with my heart, and with my will, I consecrate the space. Talks about hagstone waters, floral water, gemstone elixirs. So you can infuse gemstones in your moon water, and they have the salt water, 3 pinches of salt, twirl thrice about, I hereby cast, all ban out. So we've got silver water. I make that as well. Let's see, I do lots of these things already. And then it just goes into like the bathtubs and the bones and bowls, cauldrons, chalices, combs, crab claws, mirrors, things like that. Just all the different things that you'd see at the beaches, like sea glass, shark's teeth, and like there's different magic ribs, which is really interesting. I've underlined a bunch of stuff here. River spirits, and it goes into and names all the different river spirits with the Danube, Sabrina, Bowen. There's a bunch of them. Then it gives you an exercise, how to align with a river spirit. So it gives you an exercise to connect to the river spirits. Grounding and shielding, which is super important. And I don't know about other books I talk about that, but this is a really, really good book. There's not a whole lot of pictures per se, very little pictures. This is, I mean, I could picture all this in my mind when I was reading it because I'm into mythology and things like that, big time. So this was probably one of the only pictures that I can find in the book, and that was about the spring tides, the new moons, and how the tides work with the moon cycles. So that was probably the only picture. It teaches you how to ground and shield yourself, and exercises in doing that. And you can do baths. It talks about baths. It talks about the gemstone elixirs. It dissolves. So this gemstone does not like water, and it will dissolve. Other ones can be toxic. So just to know, you do not want to put all of your gemstones in water and start drinking it and things like that. There's very specific ones that could be dangerous, and you want to look that up and investigate that, research it. Shielding was about waterfalls, how to picture, how a waterfall comes down in front of you to protect you from negative energy. So you can create a shielding in your mind of how you could picture a waterfall. Is it a light waterfall? Is it a medium waterfall? Is it so heavy that you can't see the person in front of you? I think that was a really good one to help you if you're just not feeling, so safe around certain people and their energy, and you can't get away from them. Sometimes you can just kind of picture in your mind that you're protecting your own energy in your sacred space with the waterfall in front of you. There's the one about ice, creating a block of ice as thick as you like, and that you would surround yourself with this ice. And then as the person has left you and their energy has left you, you've trapped their negative energy in the ice, and then you let that ice melt and their energy melts away with it. And that way you're not affected so much by cleansing and purification. Most of us have probably basil, rose, rosemary, peppermint, bay laurel. Those are very easy to get a hold of. There's some other ones that you probably have to purchase. Talks about cultures and their cleansing rituals, water blessings, how they did their floor, they purified. I love it. It slightly has some Asian-esque things as far as cleaning your home and kind of feng shui, things like that. Talks about how you can create some crystal sprays, more things for purification. I have a couple of friends that have bathtubs outside. I'm so jealous. I would love that. We have tons of flies and mosquitoes here at times here in South Texas, and I don't know that that's quite ideal. But in my mind, it would be just awesome. I would just love it. So we talk about sacred well, witches, and the wells were really interesting because it was considered portals to the other world, or the screen where they would look into it and see their future husband, or the future. They would see the future by looking into the well, or things like that too. It talks about the mythology and the history and the stories behind the different holy sites. So there's different holy sites of water, and I've always been attracted to them. I like seek out holy water like a crazy person, just because I just love it. I've always been attracted to like the healing properties of the water from different places and the different minerals and things like that. And it talks about that exactly. It talks about the different stories behind all of that. And the saints and the well spirits. So the well spirits were there first, and then when the Christians came and claimed all of the sacred wells, they basically just renamed the water spirits their saint names, and converted many of the pagans. And the rituals are very much the same thing. They're doing a lot of the same to get people to convert, to get their land and things like that. So it's really interesting. Circles, goes into the wells, and then we went into, goes into like temples, and also it goes into the trees and hollywells. So trees and hollywells was really about, they go into elder. So here's an example. A fairy tree that also has been associated with witches' enchantments. There are several wells from Robertson and England specifically planted specific trees, but there were certain trees that they planted near their sacred water wells, so that they knew that this was healing waters. And like the holly trees associated with protection. Oh, gotta sneeze. My nose. Woo. Without going into too much detail, votive offerings, fossilized ammonites, cluties, which I had to Google, because they would rip off, dip in the well waters that were healing, and either put it on the affected area until it healed, or they would tie it, dip it in the water, they'd touch it to the wound, and then tie it to the tree, so that they would tie the illness, that your illness, and you would be cured as that, it took the illness away. And they always used natural fabrics, so like cotton, muslin, things like that. You don't want to use anything that's like polyester. So a lot of people still kind of do that today. Talks about fairy realm, goes into the lake witches, which was a little bit scary with the locks and the water horses and the selkies. Oh my gosh, the selkies were scary. The kelpies, I was a little scared when I was reading that. I could just imagine you being sucked down, reading all about that. And the water horses, you don't want to mess with them. Not all water spirits are kind, including mermaids. They will drown you. So it's always best to work with the waters from afar, from land, and offer give offerings. You want to give offerings to the water spirits, and the merfolk, and the fairy, and the fae. So if you've got some flowers or something that they offer them some goodies. Goes into the marsh witches. And again, it goes into like Camelot and King Arthur and what happened with his sword and the water spirits. It was just such an exciting book. Moon magic, ocean tides, went into that. And I have to look it up again because I was so interested in this. A girlfriend of mine had them. And reach over and grab it. It's called a Shiva, and it is a seashell that it's been fossilized. So it's a fossilized Shiva, and then it was carved into a heart. Quite beautiful. The lighting is not the best. I do apologize, but it is super beautiful. So, merfolk and finfolk, which are the finfolk are a lot like the fae, but they're mermaids. So, and then it goes into their stories and the mythology. Talks about how to typically like coming in the water. It was really interesting. So you're sitting by the water, you don't want to do this when you're in the water. So definitely don't do this when you're in the water, unless you do this in your own bathtub. You could do this in your own bathtub. So you just want to get into a light meditative state and combing the water. I think with something that you find like a seashell or something that's nearby or something that's of the ocean, and singing and chanting, mermaids of the sea, for so long you've hidden from me. Mermaids of the tide, come to me, no longer hide. Merfolk of the ocean, go into the water with merfolk. They like to drown people, so just be very careful. You don't want to be swept out to the ocean or anything like that, and you want to be very careful around the water. But you can call them from the shore or your bathtub, and maybe you might see one. If you're screening in your tub and doing very Epsom salt, baking soda, kelp, bladderwrack, and 9 drops of seawater with some black candles. That's really fun. Sacred flower water, making moon water, gemstone elixirs, magic potions and elixirs. Like, it actually gives you recipes. I thought this was a really good book. It gives you actual recipes. Like love potion is a cup of brandy, a pinch of wormwood, 9 apple blossoms, and 3 pinches of red roses. And then you basically, like this book was talking about, is you basically kind of create your own spells, and they're usually rhyming, and it's something. It's like a little song that you come up with, and it's from your heart, and asking for a blessing and things like that, and it's just beautiful. So, hair washes, hair rinses, cleansing baths, just has lots of different stress relieving baths. Lots of ritual baths, like lots of different baths and dips. So I hope you guys, if you love, it goes way more into detail in the stories of the mythology and the stories and the folklore and how it's all connected through Christianity and the Romans and all the water spirits in here. Maybe not every single one, but a lot of them. And so I encourage you, if it's something that you're really interested in, this was a really great read. And I'm totally keeping this book. I love it. So awesome. Book reviews, what I've been up to and what I've been reading. They've been really fun. I think I've just really needed to get a little more connected to the things that I love, and I haven't read mythology and things like that in a really long time. And I just love it, and I love the stories, and I love all the stuff that goes with it. If you're a green witch or a new witch or on your witchy path, this was a great book if you're into water and magic and things like that. So have a great time.